We are just sitting around talking about the past concert, Red, White, and Cure, and how it actually came about is that Brent came to me about using the American Cancer Society as our, go for it.
As our beneficiary, just thought the uplifting music from the patriotic could also go with the uplifting of the American Cancer Society. Lost family members, mom to cancer, so wanted to bring the two together to just kind of be happy about helping out cancer survivors, remembering the good times.
Well, at the time that we were doing it, my mother was fighting cancer, and we didn't tell anybody while we were in rehearsal. And so it was so exciting that while we were learning the song and singing all these uplifting songs, that my mother got her pronouncement that she was cancer-free. And so that was exciting. And so singing all those songs was really important to me as well because of the cancer aspect. And I've lost several family members and friends to cancer as well. But there are so many people who have made it through and been survivors, and we had all those people stand up in the concert. That was really exciting.
That was exciting to
Cool.
see to hear the applause for all the survivors during Don't Rain on My Parade was
I
a
thought
really
that was-
cool
I
experience.
thought that was really
To
important.
be able to hand out the flowers like everybody did to all the survivors, that's very touching.
That was very cool. Very cool. Touch.
It really, oh, go ahead. Well, it just really hit me that my son was actually, for 4 years, I was worried about him being overseas in Afghanistan and in Somalia and stuff as a Navy person. And then he comes back and finds out that he has leukemia. And if he had a less than 10% chance to make it. Had a bone marrow transplant using my daughter, all of her stem cells. And now he's going back to KU this next year. He's back on with life, 2 years cancer-free. And they told me at the time if they could keep him around 2 more years, that there was actually drugs being developed by the American Cancer Society and all the drug companies that could actually get him through the rest of his life. That they had to try and keep him around for a couple of years to fight that mutation of what he had. So, it's just a blessing that we live every day.
Yep.
And it's from things like this that have done that.
That's right.
It's raised the money.
Absolutely.
And not everybody survives. My wife didn't survive her breast cancer. And when we sang the first concert, the Sing for the Cure, that music, that was absolutely impossible for me to get through. It was just, I had to steel myself every time we sang the songs. But this concert, and you really helped us focus on the positive. And you said it's not going to be maudlin. We're not going to dwell in that basement of tragedy, but we're just going to elevate it. And the only song that I have a hard time getting through is Homeward Bound.
This is going to be beautiful, and you sing it
It's
wonderfully.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Very meaningful.
it just reminds me that I do miss Allison in my life. And I just think about when I sing that song that she would love to be a part of this experience. She would love you guys. You would love her. She was such a positive, happy person. And that's the one thing I regret is that she's still not around. It's still not part of my life. But the memories are wonderful. And these kinds of concerts or events, it brings back the happy memories. It doesn't bring back the sad ones. And I'll cry a bit, and Travis knows because he stands next to me. And it's kind of that mixed, I miss her, but I have a chance to think of her again really intensely. Because she flits in and out of my brain all the time, but to really take some time and remember what a wonderful person she was.
That's cool.
It's a great concert. I'm just sorry I didn't get to sing it.
That's what it's all about, the thoughts. I myself am a 6-year survivor of cancer. And just a few weeks before this, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And we're still battling to find out where we're headed with this. But being in this has given me strength. I mean, singing the uplifting songs, it actually helped me through that really difficult time at that. I really thought, do I really want to do this? Every time we said cancer, my mind went there. but I had a support group that helped me through this, so.
Well, you were coming to rehearsals.
Right.
Right from your mother's room.
Right.
To sit with us
From
and
the hospital
going
room.
right back to her. So that
Right.
was really cool.
Yeah, so, it was my support group,
Yeah.
so.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
It's just really important that we did not, that we still celebrated the people that we lost, but it wasn't about that. It was raising money for
Right.
the survivors and for people that will survive down the road.
That
And
is
I,
right.
American Cancer Society, I think, you know, honestly, what she said, a lot of people don't, you know, there's all these new charities, but I mean, this, they develop so much. I mean, look at that.
Well,
And
they
that
do
drug
things.
alone.
Yeah, and they
You
do
know.
things that, we had to stay within 15 minutes of the hospital at all times. They have the Hope Lodge in Kansas City, downtown Kansas City. And we had to stay there with Nathan, be in a germ-free environment, for 6 months, you know, because he couldn't, one germ could kill him.
Yeah.
And American Cancer Society provided this beautiful place in downtown Kansas City that we could be there because, you know, we couldn't drive 2 hours. If he had to be within the hospital at just even if his temperature went up a degree. So it's just amazing the things they do.
Yes.
And it's saving a lot of lives. And it's just amazing too that I never would have thought to put patriotic songs with this cause.
I was just about to say that. It was so interesting to take the uplifting of cancer survivors and the uplifting patriotic songs and meld them together to become a body of concert songs. It was a wonderful experience about putting the two together. I really thought it was great.
Because we had talked about, we need to do a patriotic concert because it was so close to
Yeah.
July 4th, and we was like, ooh, we're gonna have this, you know, flags, and then we had that big, beautiful flag, and the pictures from the show were just beautiful. And when you finally get the DVDs 100 years from now, you will too. But then when we brought up American Cancer Society, I thought, oh my God, that was a test.
Yes. Well, and-
What?
Yeah.
But then that was my
Yeah.
whole thing, uplifting. Everybody kept sending me, you know, ideas. Oh, let's do you, raise me up, let's do you. And that's uplifting, but it's such sad. I just didn't want. I wanted the tears to come because of the patriotism or
The good memories.
or the homeward bound or the good memories, like you said. That was very important, and hopefully, and that's awesome to hear that.
Yeah, I walked away feeling a lot better after the concert.
Oh my God, that just was
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, you could see it with him every night.
Yeah, it was
He'd
just-
walk in just dead and leave
Yeah,
for
leave the
fresh.
hospital.
You were tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were tired when you, and I was concerned, and that
Yeah.
was my whole, yeah.
But that's one of the reasons why, I mean, I really liked the Gettysburg Address from the beginning. And part of it was because I'm an English teacher, but the other, and I taught it. But the other thing was that the more we sang it, the more important it became.
That's right.
And the more we began to really understand what he was saying. And part of that song was that everyone deserves happiness.
That's right.
Everyone deserves their place in the country. And so even though we were singing the Gettysburg Address of all things, it applied so well to
Everything
the
going
Kansas
on.
Society.
It's a battlefield in fighting
It is,
cancer.
and
It's
you're
a
doing that,
battlefield,
yeah.
you know,
That's right.
you're in a war against
Yeah.
a disease
That's
that
right.
can be so devastating.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I made that link, was, we are on this battlefield, I mean, we really are.
That we're together.
Yeah.
That's important.
How do you, I'm curious how you guys felt. I mean, I know how I felt about the concert, the quality of it, and the level of performance you guys are at, but I'd love to hear your input about that.
It was one of my favorites.
Yes, I loved it.
It was one of my
Because of the
favorites.
music, or just because you guys
The
are
whole
performing at
experience.
such a,
Yes,
okay.
everything
whole
together.
experience.
See, all of the above, that's what I say all the time.
What I've bragged to everybody about is just the level of the voice, the individual voices have gotten so much better every concert. You can just hear, just the level of voices has gotten better. I mean,
I think we
2
all
or 3
walk on
years
stage
ago,
with a little more pride,
Yeah.
because
And
we are
just
making some really nice
better
music.
ranges and just more precision in everything we do.
The presentation that we sang at the end of the show was stunning. It was very nicely done, and then to end with God Bless the USA
Yes.
was
I didn't
with
really
our
wanna
with
cry
our
at that
with
point.
our military
Yeah.
guys
But that
coming out.
was the
Yeah.
That was
Oh my God,
sharp.
when they turned.
Yeah, if I would have ever seen
That
that, I
was
would
sharp.
have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were downstage about
I would have never made it through that.
and I was sitting down.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole military aspect of it was touching for me because I was registered for the draft in 1972 in September, and I was supposed to get my number in January, and Nixon stopped the draft in January, and then they published my number, and my number was 9. So I
Oh my
would have
gosh, you
gone.
would have gone.
I would have gone.
Oh, wow.
And I would have immediately joined the Navy, just like everybody else in my family.
I was 142.
You're 142,
And I was
yes.
drafted.
Well, yes.
I did go there.
And so you have, I mean, so a friend of mine and I talked about it, we kind of have survivor guilt. That people we knew went to war and we didn't go, that all of my, I mean, there are very few men in my family, but all but 2 of us were involved in the military, starting in World War I,
Wow.
all the way through the Vietnam War. And I had an uncle who served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. So it was, that part of the concert was just so exciting for me. And when we were singing the tribute songs, all the anthems of all the branches of the service, that just made me well up. I mean, there were times when I
It gets
had,
me when, I'm really glad my back was to them, because when they stand up, for some reason that just gets me.
Yeah.
And some of it is when we had to, I want us at some point in time, this is my pipe dream, to go to Washington DC and perform, because when we went there 2 years ago, we went to the World War II Memorial, and we sang, and the veterans were right there. It was, I can't even tell you, you thought that was pretty.
oh well,
I want us to go, because I think it would mean more to us than.
You know, it's amazing that more Americans don't get a chance to see the Washington DC.
Sure.
My son had just gone through, he was about to get out of the Navy, and he came out right at 4th of July. And we went and picked him up in Norfolk, Virginia, and we drove up to Washington DC
Oh, that's
and we were standing
Wow.
around the Lincoln Memorial. We were sitting on the steps watching the fireworks. And he was like, every person in the United States should have to, or should have the opportunity to come here and see this.
It's
He
breathtaking.
said, I finally have seen what I was fighting for overseas. And I mean, it just, I'll never forget him saying that.
And that tribute
I
to
mean,
the armed services, for one thing, it's amazing,
Mhm.
and we will do it many, many times.
yeah. That was really cool.
Anything else, guys?
Looking forward to Christmas.
Yeah,
Me
me
too.
too.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah,
And Feliz Navidad.
And
I
the
have
Broadway
missed
concert in the
everyone.
spring.
Yes,
Yes.
yay!
And exciting things next summer.
Yes.
We're going back to Denver.
Yeah, thanks for this conversation.
Yeah,
I
this is
appreciate
great.
hearing
Yeah.
hearing your stories.
I have missed everyone.
I have
Yeah,
too,
that's
oh my god, you
Yeah,
guys started
summer's
singing and it
almost
was like,
gone.
oh, they're home.
Yeah.
We're back.
The boys have come